Okay, today we're going to be focusing on major, minor, and perfect intervals based on what we've learned in our introduction worksheets. Okay, if you'll notice that it says major, minor, and perfect intervals at the top, that means the only things on these worksheets, the only intervals on these worksheets are going to be major, minor, and perfect intervals. Okay, you'll notice it says 1 at the top of your page. I've added 2 and 3 because this video applies to the first 3 worksheets of this sequence. Okay. The first 3 worksheets require you to do just this: name the intervals and use large M, little m, with the little line, and P for major, minor, and perfect intervals. You will be able to use this video for numbers 1, 2, and 3. So don't be panicked that there are no videos for 2 and 3. It's just that we only made 1 because they are the same. Okay, the first thing I'd like you to do is put a key at the top of your page, and I'll help you do this. Do this with me, please. You have this from your major and perfect interval basics, but you don't have the minor one on that worksheet. So we're just going to go ahead and do a comprehensive key, starting with a perfect 1 or unison, and we're going to write how many half steps the notes would be apart. So perfect unison, 0 half steps. Move it so you can see it. Our next one is going to be a minor second, and that's going to have 1 half step. Next one's going to be a major second. Notice the difference in the M's, and that's going to have 2 half steps. Our next one will be a minor third. Notice the line. That's going to have 3 half steps. Next interval is going to be a major third, and that will have 4 half steps. Next one will be our first perfect interval, and we denote that with P. That's going to be 5 half steps. And for our purposes on this worksheet, we're going to go right to perfect fifth. P5, that is 7 half steps. Following that, we're going to go ahead and do minor sixth. That's going to be 8 half steps. Then major sixth, 9 half steps. Minor 7, 10 half steps. And finally, below here, we'll do major 7 with 11 half steps. So go ahead and write that. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time. Okay, let's go ahead and start on these intervals. Let's start with the example up here, perfect fifth. Just to remember how we count these, we're going to go ahead and find our E flat, which is right here. That'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, counting up to B flat, 7 half steps. Okay, so we can see that perfect fifth has 7 half steps. Perfect fifth has 7 half steps. Okay, I'm going to do numbers 1 through 8 with you, and then I'll leave you guys to do numbers 9 through 24 on your own. Okay, numbers 1 through 8, that'll include all the intervals that we've been looking at, and it'll give you a really good baseline or a foundation to start with. Okay, so number 1, let's look. We've got treble clef, always look at the clef, and we've got C to G, C to G. Okay, so we're going to find our C on the keyboard. That'll be 0. Then we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half steps. 7 half steps. Which one has 7 half steps? Go ahead and find it on your key. Right, perfect fifth. Easy, right? Okay, and following each one of these, I'm going to go ahead and play what the interval will sound like, and then play the interval together. So it'll sound like this. It's a very open sound on the perfect fifth. Let's go to our next one, and I encourage you to do the same thing and play these on your pianos or your keyboards, or just find a keyboard online and just go to town. It's a lot of fun to hear these intervals. Next one is E to C. E to C. Okay, so let's find our E on our keyboard. That'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. 8 right there. 8 half steps. Which one of these has 8 half steps? Good, minor 6 right there. So remember, when we draw the minors, we're going to put a little line over the M. So we've got our minor 6th. And I hope you guys can hear that. So that's what a minor 6 sounds like. Let's go ahead and look at our next one. It's a bass clef. E to G. Find our E right there. 1, 2, 3 half steps up to G. Okay, let's look at that. Which one of these has 3 half steps? Very good. It's a minor 3rd. All right. And I'll go ahead and play this for you. And that's what a minor 3rd sounds like. Okay, now we have number 4. We're back in treble clef. We've got G to B. Let's find our G. That'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. Okay. Which one of these intervals has 4 half steps? Very good. Major 3rd rather. Major 3rd. Make sure you make the difference between the M's, and I'll go ahead and play it for you. Good. Moving on to number 5. We've got a C to an E flat. C to an E flat. Let's find the C on our keyboard. Right there. 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 half steps. We've seen this before, haven't we? Right over here. Minor 3rd. 3 half steps. So a lot of the times, if you find the half steps and then you go back earlier and see that another interval had the same number of half steps, you can really save some time just by seeing that the other one was a minor 3rd. Okay, so just look for those patterns as you're doing these worksheets. So I'll play this for you. This is a C to an E flat. Okay, and that's what that sounds like. Remember, the minor intervals sound sadder, while the major intervals sound happier. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. We're back in bass clef. It's a D to an E. D to an E. Find the D right there. That'll be 0, 1, 2. 2 half steps. Okay. Which one of the intervals has 2 half steps up above here? Very good, major 2nd. Okay. And as you can see on the staff, these 2 notes are very close together. So they're going to sound a little bit crunchy. Here's what they sound like. And together. It's a very interesting sound, isn't it? Okay, let's move on. Number 7 and number 8, 2 more, and then I'll let you guys do the rest on your own. Number 7, it's an E flat to a G. Remember, we're back in treble clef. E flat to a G. Let's find our E flat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 half steps. Now, do you see any other intervals on this worksheet that have 4 half steps? You should be looking right at number 4. And you should write major 3rd. Major 3rd. Now, this will sound happy. Number 8. Got bass clef, A to C sharp. A to C sharp. Let's find our A. And we're going to have to skip to the beginning of the staff, the other end of the keyboard. But I'll show you how we're going to do that.
Mrs. Smith, please call the front office. Mrs. Smith.
So close. Back to what we were doing. A is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 half steps. Okay, so we look at the one before it that also has 4 half steps, and we can safely assume that this is also a major third. I'll play what it sounds like for you. Notice that the major third sounds happy. Okay? Go ahead and do numbers 9 through 24. That'll be these. On your own. Make sure you do them exactly how I've done these. And bring them in, and we will check them in class.